All right. Hello. My name is Jimmy Cross. And, for my presentation, I'm going to be talking about internet safety. Just a little bit of a background about myself. I am a senior admission counselor at the University of Mount Union. I've been in Mount Union for a year, also in grad school for about a year now as well. So I'm going to be talking in my presentation about internet safety, some resources that I have found that have been useful for educational purposes, also just statistics that I found throughout my whole entire research. So I'm going to be getting started with part one. The first thing I'm going to pull up is CIPA, which is the Child Internet Protection Agency. There's been laws that have put in as of 2000 to protect children from harmful or hurtful things that are on the internet. The internet is more prevalent in today's world as we go farther and farther into the future. So I think that having the CIPA is a really great organization, government organization that will allow students to be safe on the internet with having resources. And there is different kinds of things that schools have to keep up with to keep their students safe, but also to get government funding through the Child Internet Protection Agency. So there is, depending on the organizations and the databases, then in all of the training that students get to use using E-rate funding. There's a lot of different things that students get the opportunity to access through each and every school district. This is something that all P through 12 schools have to do. So it's something that all schools have. So that's one of the first resources that I found that I thought was really useful for my research. Another one was a really cool organization. It's called NetSmarts. NetSmarts is an educational tool to help report online cyberbullying that is harmful to children and young adults. They did have two different websites. One is more geared towards younger kids. Typically from elementary school to middle school, now that students are now getting phones at a younger age now. Also, like, schools have a 1-to-1 ratio with technology as well. So they made a section that's specifically for students in that age range. And then there's also NetSmarts that's available with resources for high school students. Also, they could be used in a sense for college students as well. And I put the reference to that on this slide. So I think it's a great educational tool to exploit, to get those issues of cyberbullying out, and also has a lot of educational resources, videos to watch, how to be safe, a lot of how-to videos, a lot of tips, pointers, what-if situations, frequently asked questions. Really great website. This one I first have found that was very interesting to see. I did in my senior capstone when I was at Hiram College, I did some research on cyberbullying and never found this organization. So I'm glad I found a new one, and I'm glad to research that a little more to kind of get more in-depth idea of what they do and how they do it. And so that was another great tool. Another one is On Guard Online, which is a governmental organization to help students understand what is safe and not safe. So kind of similar to NetSmarts in some regards, but it is kind of more geared not just for the school setting, but also just kind of how to be safe on the internet. And that can be with public Wi-Fi networks, what is safe to connect to, what if you're unsure of something, why you should not connect to that Wi-Fi network, because you can get hackers to access and infiltrate your databases and everything that's on your computer, which can be, credit card information. It could be your any kind of card information. It could be your social security. It could be information that's very sensitive to you. So being safe there. Common online scams that people will try to get you in. And how to identify what is a scam and what's not a scam. And if you're uncomfortable and not sure, how to approach that situation. And also just computer safety, just in general, how to create strong passwords, how to have backup systems or backup places, backup storage for your computer, all those kind of things. And there's also games that are included and videos for students to participate in. So that's just another great governmental website that was useful for me. This is kind of some research that I did find throughout my time. This is some statistics. So the internet is a really positive resource on the other side of things. So on a positive note, it is a great resource. It's becoming more prevalent every day and farther on throughout time with the internet and utilizing the internet and how it could affect your future and also benefit your future in a positive way. So there's a lot of different and that's according to like the Family Online Safety Institute, that 78% of parents perceive technology as a positive learning tool. And there's a lot of great things on the website online that can be very useful for everybody. It's just, learning how to be safe with it. And an important thing through this research that I found is that when you have parents in the community of the school district, when they're involved in being active towards teaching internet safety, students are projected at a higher rate to be safer and not to click on those emails that may be scam or malware or things that are going to hurt your computer. So students are being safer when the parents are involved, and so is the community trying to push the safety of the internet. Another one is, this is from the same resource from earlier, from the last slide. But Enough is Enough is a nonprofit organization that has been working on the front lines to also make sure that the internet is safer for children and their families. So they've led a lot of efforts towards, combating all sorts of kinds of things that are harmful to students. One thing that I thought was really interesting was just the percentage of students that have chatted online with strangers. 40% of kids in grades 4 through 8 reported they connected or chatted online with a stranger. 53% revealed their phone number with a stranger. 21% spoke with somebody. So 30% texted with a stranger. So just another good website here that I found that has a lot of great tools and a lot of interesting statistics that are from recent years on the usage of the internet for younger students and also high school students and college students. So Enough is Enough is a really great tool, another great research thing that I'm going to be using. So I did some interviews. All three of my people that I interviewed actually are outside of my organization, but did have experience in the field of education. So I thought it would be really interesting to get an outside perspective from my university that I work for, just to get to know how other places do internet safety, but also like combat issues on cyberbullying, all that kind of stuff. So the three people I interviewed, first person was Miles Davis. He used to be an intervention specialist at Kenston High School. He was in education for a long time. We went to college together. So I've known him for a good amount of time, but it's going to be fun. It was fun to interview him just to see like how his institution does things, and how they did things at Kenston. I also interviewed Josh Howell, who's a graduate of Hiram College, one of my good friends as well. He graduated with his Master's of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies, and he used to coach men's lacrosse at Hiram. And then I interviewed Lauren Smith, who is actually my girlfriend. She works at a nonprofit called Eden House in New Orleans. So I asked 5 questions regarding internet safety, and it's not on this slide, but also cyberbullying. Question 1, how is cyberbullying handled throughout your organization? Miles, first, I'll go up down the list and so Miles' answer, he did tell me that at his organization, you can report that to your supervisor, and just having screenshots or things that were said in a chat, have those documented and sent to your supervisor, and that it will be further handled from there. Cyberbullying is important in their office. They really try to get on top of those kinds of things and make sure that everyone feels welcomed when they're in the team, and making sure that no people are being harassed or anything like that in an internet setting. For Josh, he more so focused on like the college students, and if he ever has any issues with his players, his team, any cyberbullying kind of things going on, he was the person that would talk to the students. So he usually would address it individually with the 2 or multiple people that are involved, just to get everyone's perspective in an individual setting. And then if it needed to be brought into a group setting, he would bring them into the group and they would talk about it as a group and talk about what happened here, get to the bottom of it, and how we could further move forward there. With Lauren, at her nonprofit, which is not in the field of education, cyberbullying is also, it's something that she said could be handled better. There hasn't been a lot of instances that she's worked at in the year she's been at Eden House, which is a nonprofit in New Orleans, where cyberbullying has been prevalent. She works alongside with people that have, gone through sexual abuse, sexual assault. They were, have been through abuse, domestic violence. So she hasn't seen a lot of the cyberbullying in that scenario, but more so the physical and the in-person kind of bullying. But people in that she works with and helps with, or people she works for, have had maybe very few issues, but that's something that can be brought up and talked about between one-on-one. And sometimes the patients that are, undergoing rehab in the nonprofit, a lot of the times the cyberbullying that happened was not within the organization. It was outside of the organization. So it's just how to handle those situations and take care of any issues that are going on throughout that part. And with those two people, just being able to address it as professionals and as adults and try to further move forward there was something that she said they'd try to do and try to help with, even though they may not be able to assist as much, but just trying to be there and just be supportive of the person that's going through that trauma is important. So I thought that was really unique. Question 2, how do you believe internet safety can better be handled in any setting? Miles said that there should be more training on internet safety. And Josh and Lauren kind of echoed the same thing, that there always can be more training. I feel like there's always new things that are happening that are making the internet unsafe. And there's new ways to hack. There's new way, for hackers to get into your computer. There's new ways. There's always new things that are happening. So just being up to date is kind of what they all echoed, was just being able to be up to date on training and how to know what is safe to click on, what's not safe to click on. They all kind of were on that same page there. So I thought that was really, really awesome that they all kind of thought that they could improve within their organization by having just more training on it. Miles said that they did have training when he first started. So he said that it is an annual training, and it is kind of similar to how Mount Union does it. I work at Mount Union, like I said, where you will complete certain trainings and then you'll take a quiz. And then if you get a certain grade on the quiz, you pass it. Josh did some of that at Hiram, and he only did it once in the 2 years that he was at Hiram. So I think that, at that setting, they could do it annually and stay up to date with that, with more information. For Lauren, what they do is they actually send out like fake hacker kind of emails to make sure to catch them. So if they actually do something, if they click on the email or do something that they weren't supposed to, they'll undergo a training to learn more about how to be safe clicking on emails and stuff like that. So they have done little things here and there to ensure that they're being safe by clicking on emails, because they work a lot with outside organizations. So just double checking what you're reading, and if it's from a credible person, it would be beneficial. Question number 3, do you have anything that is blocked/censored on your devices at work? Miles said no, since his is outside the field of education too. He does not have anything that is blocked/censored. So he has nothing there. For Josh, and Lauren, they said that they both do. Josh did mention when he was at Hiram last year that they, could not go on certain websites, and they couldn't go. They had to. There was one more thing in there, but certain websites were blocked. So being mindful of that when you're on the Hiram Wi-Fi. For Lauren, she did say that certain websites are blocked, but it's more so for the patient's perspective. So if the patient has had some issues with social media, or anything regarding the internet when it comes to being safe. And they would block some things, but more of the staff members, like Lauren here, she had some things censored where if she tried to go on it, she wouldn't be allowed to. So she, while being at work, could not be on certain parts of the website. So they try to just be cautious with their employees to make sure that they're not clicking on websites that have a lot of spam or a lot of pop-ups, or so using the cookies on like Google or Internet Explorer or Mozilla Firefox to make sure that the website is safe for them to be on is something that they use. So they try to be as cautious as possible. Question 4, do you anticipating cyberbullying to be as prevalent today in school districts? So I showed some statistics on the research that I found while doing my research for this so far. Miles said that he is not surprised because he worked in a high school, and high school where cyberbullying is a lot more prevalent in ages 14 to 18. So he's seen a lot of cases of cyberbullying, so that did not surprise him. Same answer with Josh. He did mention that it is prevalent, and it's something that they do need to work on in all school districts by bringing in more and more trainings and getting the parents involved. Getting the parents involved will become a lot better of a chance for cyberbullying to go lower, have lower rates of cyberbullying. Lauren actually was pretty surprised because she has not dove into this research as much as other people have, like myself. So she was very surprised to see how high of a rate that cyberbullying is. So it's kind of sad to see that, but she got to learn a lot of great information about it though. In question 5, throughout your experience of working or being in education, have you ever seen cyberbullying take place? If so, how did you handle the situation? Josh kind of talked about it, reiterated, if I have my players, going through something and being a resource for them, just seeing what the situation is, what was said, how did it happen, just try to be somebody there for the students and try to see how you can better tackle what's going on in that student's day. Or what kind of issues of cyberbullying is going on, or just seeing how, he can be a resource for that person. Miles said that he's seen, plenty of cases of cyberbullying, and it just depends on what it is. But he always would address it with the student, that he will get in contact with the principal because cyberbullying is something at Kansas schools that is not tolerated. And they really try to work on enforcing cyberbullying to be lowered and just be safer. So he usually would take it to the principal after getting a synopsis of what's going on with that student. Lauren said she didn't really see that as much. So she didn't work in education. So she's been around the field of education. She's in grad school right now, and she just graduated college last year. So it's something new to her. So she did not see this as often, but she said that if she did see this situation happen, she would definitely connect her to a supervisor within her role, or talk to somebody about what's going on and create a safe place for somebody to project what's happening in their day or with the cyberbullying or internet safety. I'm going to be using Prezi as my platform for this final presentation, but I just want to thank you for taking some time to watch my video on my research. It has been very interesting to learn more and more about cyberbullying and internet safety, and I'm excited to learn more about it as time goes on. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a great evening.